Hey, what's going on, everybody? Movie Phantom here, and as you have read down below, we got ourselves a special little occasion right now. Now, I know some of you guys may be thinking, this is way too early, Phantom. What are we doing having a Phantom board meeting right now? A Phantom Awards board meeting. And no, we're going to have it now. This is kind of getting the prelim stuff out of the way. This is more just to make you guys aware, I guess. Like, now, this is the time, my board members, to start watching a lot more horror movies that came out in the year 2013. And yeah, that way we can get the nominations up and right. Now, last year was a great success. A lot more people participated than I thought they would. And that means a lot to me. Thank you very much. Like I told you guys before, I mean, I can do this by myself, but no one's going to give a shit about my opinion. Like, my award, no. I like the fact that I got a diverse group of people with a diverse taste in horror movies coming together and, doing the awards like this. So, so yes, I'm very excited to be doing this again this year. The awards will be held in February. That gives you 1 month after the year's over to get caught up on stuff, and then, February. So yes, right now what I'm going to do, excuse me, I just ate before I did this, and literally it's like heartburn city. Like when I was a kid, I could literally just scarf down nachos, no problem. Just this is delicious, Big Red, oh, love it. I'm perfectly fine. And now, literally, I have a few bites and I'm just like, oh God, what happened? Phantom's getting old. That's what's happening. The Phantom's getting old. Okay, now this year we got a shitload of new people on the board, and I've talked to everybody on this list. Everybody is down to do this, which once again, that means a lot to me as well. I mean, that literally is awesome. So thank everybody out there. I want to thank you from the bottom of my black heart. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. And so yeah, here we go. Here are the members of the board. And I'll go through kind of quickly. I don't want to just dwell on everybody. I can do that. Believe me, the fam can run his mouth for fucking ever, but I won't do that. I'll run through it as quickly as I can. First, of course, me. The other members of the board. I'm just going to alphabetical order too. I'm not doing, this ain't like from least to, this is all alphabetical order. The one guy, he's kind of an unsung hero on the show. You've never seen him, actually. Actually, you know what? You may be able to, I ain't going to tell you who he is, but you may be able to peek him at the Days of the Dead convention party we did, because I took a control of the camera and he was, in front, but he's in the crowd. No, he's our cameraman. Whenever we go on location, we do, whether it's just goofy videos or whatnot, this guy is, the guy who does our camera work for us. And he's not really an in front of the camera kind of guy, but he's definitely, part of the family nonetheless. We'll just refer to him as cameraman. So cameraman definitely earned himself a spot. That's all there is to that. Naturally, the four little representatives of the Corn Children, Billick, Darren Randy, Lady Gaga, and Natalie Myers. Boom, there you go. They're in the group. There was a group of people I met, lucky enough to have met over the summer at Days of the Dead. Party with these guys. They're freaking awesome. And I contacted them, and the ones I could reunite. Believe me, if you was at the party and I did not contact you, I am sorry. I couldn't find you on Facebook. I looked for everybody, and this was the 5 that I found right here. I threw them in alphabetical order as well. So we got Janet Decay, Razor Throat. Janet Decay, she was in the video. She was hanging on the Ghostface killer in the video. Ghostface killer. Isn't he a rapper? That's how white I am. Isn't that a rapper? Yeah. Anyways, she was hanging on Ghostface in that party video. And then Razor Throat. He has a metal punk band. Or actually, I'm taking that back. He does it himself. He's a one-man band actually right now. And heard his stuff, really good stuff. I highly recommend that. You guys can check out Razor Throat right here on Facebook. On Facebook. I'm not sure if he has a YouTube thing or not, but I was listening to his stuff on Facebook. Anyways, he was up there as well. And then we got Terrence Muncie. He's a very talented artist. I showed you. He's the one that did the caricatures of us on the Walking Dead comic books. And then, of course, who I think should definitely host next year's Days of the Dead, Trash and Vernon. Dude, the craziest fucking hell-raising Canadians ever. You guys fucking rock, and I am honored to have you guys, do this. So, yes, those guys. I just kind of labeled them all as Day of the Dead partiers, so that's why their names are a little out of the sequence there. Going back to the alphabetical order, buddy of mine, El Blanto, neighbor in the cemetery here. He hasn't been on the show in a long time. He actually only did one appearance, but he was very heavily involved with the nomination process last year. So definitely got himself a spot this year as well. Good friend of mine here on YouTube, and really just elsewhere too. We talk on Facebook all the time. I truly believe, and I will just state my reputation on this, that this kid is like he's the face of like the next generation of horror. Like this guy, like the next generation of horror fans. Like this is the kid right here. I'm referring to Ghostface Kid 101. Real good friend of the show, and yeah, he's going through the worst horror right now though. He's going through high school, so we feel you, buddy. But yes, he definitely got himself a spot on the board right there. Another good friend of mine here on YouTube, Horror Show 3000, and I won him last year. And we just got like a wires crossed. I kept sending him messages and just, but I talked to him early in the year and he's like, I'm down, so thank you, man. I appreciate that. Horror Show 3000. Of course, you guys know, you've seen him on the show, multiple times. Ian Hill. I don't know if he's still like the unofficial manager of Open Grave or not, but either way, good friend of the show, and he's definitely here. The Drifter himself, Jimbo. Yes, if I can track him down, he's still wandering around out there. He's on the board. Buddy of mine, I hadn't talked to him in a while actually, but I dropped a line a while back ago, and he said he was still down. Lane, buddy, I haven't seen you in a while. Definitely hit me up sometime. Of course, my brother Lynch Ramsey. Boom. Hadn't seen him on the show in a while either. Miss him. I really don't actually. He's like, I love him, but it's once a year on the show is probably enough. Actually, we'll see him next year. The Man of No Name, old guest on the show as well. The Masked Wanderer, he's hung out at the chicken house, popped up once. You're in, buddy. That dude knows his shit, though. I ain't gonna lie. Like, you talk to that guy, he knows his shit. Of course, my PIC, my partner in crime, Misery Black, easily. A really good friend of mine here on YouTube, My Bloody Sanitarium. In fact, he was my friend way back when his name was Satan Slayer's Lair, and yeah, I really enjoy watching his videos, and yeah, I mean, just really cool guy. So I'm glad that he wants to do this with me. Of course, my very lovely girlfriend, who's very supportive and literally, I mean, she keeps me going. I ain't gonna lie. My girlfriend Maya. So thank you, baby. Now this guy, he's a independent filmmaker. I did a review on a found footage movie of his not too long ago. Oh, buddy, I'm blanking right now. Shit, I knew I would write this down. I didn't. It's I think it was 08, 05, 11. Shit, buddy. I am so sorry. I'm blanking. Anyway, I seen one of his video or movies recently too. He had a little short one called Tools. Nicky Chatwin, and yes, we did a review for him on here. And this guy also has a really good taste in horror movies, and I thought he'd be a great addition to the board as well. Then of course, we all know from the Chicken House, Pumpkin Face. Haven't seen him on the show in a while. We'd love to get him back on here. Also, speaking of Chicken House, Robert Chaney. So yeah, one of my best friends. This goes without saying, he's the lead singer of Open Grave, Simon Terrell, and yeah, he's a real good friend of the show. We hung out poolside with him, over the summer. So, new addition to the Phantom family, Teddy Watts. Boom. Also hangs out there at Chicken House. They got Chicken House. That's a weird breeding ground, I ain't gonna lie. And then of course, this guy. If I said Ghostface Kid was like the face of like the new school in horror, like this guy is just the fucking school. That's all there is to it. Like this guy is so knowledgeable of horror movies, it's ridiculous. I'm referring to 13th Wolfman. He is a great friend of the show. Like this guy, I mean, he's my boy. I ain't gonna lie. Like literally, and when like those weeks where like nobody comments at all, he's the one guy who will, he'll comment. He soldiers on with us, So yeah, you definitely got yourself a spot on the board. You did last year too, so I mean, I'm glad to have you back this year. And then the last one is Zuma 126, and we reviewed a couple of his movies, Jersey Devil and Sweet 16. I'm blanking. I literally, as I'm looking at your guys' stuff, I'm like, this is what they did. I'm going to remember this. And I didn't remember it at all. I'm sorry. Zuma Buddy, though, real good friend. His kid, actually, is doing movies now. Zuma Jr. And actually, we're going to be hitting them up soon too. We're going to be doing reviews on that. But yeah, Zuma 126. This is another guy that I really like. On his take on horror, I really dig that, and just a really good guy in general. And I'm definitely somebody I would like to have on the board as well. So thank you, I appreciate that. And then, like I said last year, now if I did not mention your name, and don't take it personally, I just I'm getting as many as I could. I scrounged them together, but the last spot was always left open, like the last chair, if you will, at the table, is for the viewers in general. And I was surprised at how many people actually threw in recommendations who weren't on the board, who was like that the viewer spot, who actually threw in their nominations. And we got a lot of interesting nominations last year, and yeah, it really kind of helped out really because they gave it a different flavor. So even if I did not mention you, please nominate. I still want your participation in this, please. And in fact, a lot of these people were like that too, and I just they were just nominating, and I brought them aboard. So yes, there you go. There is the Phantom board. Now we'll get the board out of the way. So let's get on to what why we're here. Basically, this is kind of like I said, this is the prelim thing. When we do the awards, when we do the actual awards, here's what we're going to do. Is I got all the categories here, and once the categories are locked in, like once we are fucking locked in, at the first of the year, that's when I'll start taking nominations. And I'll explain more about that when we get there. But basically, I want everybody to basically submit up to 5 nominations per category. Now, if you have not seen 5 movies, like I know last year the biggest one that really it was hard to get any nominations in was the best foreign horror movie. Sorry. And just one of those things where a lot of people just I guess wasn't watching them. I'm guilty of that. I didn't see a lot last year either. So it was just one of those things where it was very skimpy, and that's okay. I mean, if you've only seen one or you've seen none, you can leave anything you want blank. I'm just saying maximum 5 nominations per category when we get to that process. Now we're getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry, but we're not there yet. But so that's what we're doing. What we're doing here exactly is basically, what we're going to do now is I got the categories here, and basically this is the suggestion portion where if you guys out there, maybe you like exactly what's here and you're like, that's perfect, keep that and let's move on. Maybe there's something you want to add to the list. You're like, you know what, we need this, award instead, or maybe, we should take this award out. This is the time to do that because, once again, I don't think this is set in stone. It's up to you guys. This ain't just my award. This is everybody who's at the table has equal say, and that's just the way it goes. So what we're going to do is I'll go through the list here, and if you guys think we should add something, delete something, I don't know, just alter, whatever you mean, this is the time to say it. You'll say it, and then the next video we do, I will bring all these up, and then we can vote on whether or not we're going to change or keep or whatever the case may be. So yes, here we go. These are the categories right here. And these are what we had last year. This is, we got, obviously, Best Horror Picture, which is pretty self-explanatory. That's another thing I think we should go through real quick, is, because last year I got a lot of comments like, well, do you consider this a horror movie? Or, do you consider that? Because the line's a little blurry sometimes, I'm not going to lie to you. I think the best way, this is why I've been telling everybody, and even now, people when I'm talking about it, I'm like, we're going to be doing this soon, and people who remember last year are like, well, you consider this movie. I just think if you think it's a horror movie, throw it in there. I mean, I feel like the people I selected, especially people I selected, they you guys know what constitutes horror and what doesn't, and if it's like on the fringe, I could throw it in there and just see if it sticks, Like obviously I won't take obvious ones like you guys are like, I think we should do Safe Haven. Because that was pretty scary to fucking watch that. Now, obviously, Safe Haven will not be counted because it's not a legit, it's not even close to being horror. Even though I felt horrific after watching it, it is not still, still not a horror movie. But no, there's, I guess, certain things like Dark Skies kind of has a sci-fi element to it, which I think it's more horror. But, I can see where people be like, well, that's not strictly horror. It has sci-fi. I'm saying just use your best judgment. Just use common sense on it, and, we'll go from there. Only theatrical releases. That's where I hate the Oscars, but that's where I do agree with them on. I'm like, let's just do theatrical only. Now, that's another thing that came out. Like, well, this was like, it was released kind of limited, last year, and it got a wider release here. I think if it's a wide, if it's had a theatrical release in the year 2013, it counts. I mean, that's just if it's like, you know, sometimes you get those that like seem like they're straight to video, and then when you actually look into them, they have like a actual world premiere, you know, small one, but it's still a premiere nonetheless, and then it was, you know, released. I'll count it, you know, if it's, as long as it has some kind of theatrical release, or if it, you know, if it's, even if it's on the festival. That's another one. Lords of Salem came out this year, but it did its festival circuit last year, and people were kind of counting. I mean, it didn't get enough to get nominated, obviously, but there were some votes for it last year. And I counted it last year, but you know, it had a big. Its wide release was this year, like its actual theatrical release was this year. So I'll count it. You know, so yeah, just as long as it, you know, has a theatrical release this year, no straight to video, no TV movies, no TV series, no miniseries, nothing like that. Just theatrical movies. That's it. That's, you know, it's a theatrical horror movie. So yeah, that's pretty much it right there. I guess we'll go through the categories now. I'll quit running my mouth. Number one, okay, obviously we got best horror picture, which is self-explanatory. Best horror movie, period. Best horror director, you know, the guy behind the, you know, camera calling the shots, the director. Who's the best? Best leading horror actor and best leading horror actress. And that was another one we had kind of like confusion with last year, which, you know, it wasn't a big deal. But basically just the actor who's in the leading role. Now, last year we had a lot of crossover. Some people would have like the same actor, not like, you know, one person, but, you know, multiple people would vote like one guy, one actor who was in the supporting role, and then also they have in the leading, you know. And what I just did last year is I just kind of seen where because we were lacking in the leading division last year, so I threw a lot of the supporting guys over because we kind of didn't have enough to fill it in. So, and actors same way, you know. So, just I mean, leading role. I mean, once again, just use common sense on, you know, what is a leading role and what's a supporting role. And then of course, yeah, saying that, we got a best supporting horror actor and best supporting horror actress. So, yeah, just use judgment. Best horror screenplay, best script, best dialogue, best story, best writing. Best horror screenplay. Best foreign horror movie. Now, once again, you know, this is a United States-based, you know, web series. So I guess the best way to say this is like any non-U.S. horror release. With that being said, last year we had a douchebag, and I won't mention names. You know who you are out there. Who threw in Resident Evil Redemption, or sorry, Retribution. Into this category because IMDb actually had it listed under its country of release, Japan and Russia, like that. And I got in a big argument with this guy, and then I was like, well, fuck it, it don't matter. We'll have enough foreign movies to oust it out. And we didn't. So, and I was like, fuck it, throw it in there. And you guys were smart enough to shoot it down anyway. So, I guess, I mean, if you don't really know, I guess IMDb, but for the most part, I mean, you guys know foreign films, so I guess like the one that kind of throws it off would be like, you know, films that are made like in Canada or whatever, because, you know, the accent ain't that much off. You know, we like to stereotype and pretend like it is. It really isn't. You know, I watched My Bloody Valentine, the original. Like, there's not much of an accent there. Black Christmas, you know. So, yeah, anything that's a non-U.S., you know, horror movie qualifies for best foreign horror movie. Best horror score. The music you hear during the movie, not the soundtrack though, don't get confused with the soundtrack, but music actually written for the movie. Best horror special effects, and like I stated last year, I didn't divide it up into visual effects, or I'm sorry, computer generated effects and practical effects. I just combined them, so you know that's what we did last year. Best horror sequel, prequel, or remake, and I got a couple questions last year. It wasn't even relevant last year. Not that it's really relevant this year, but I got a lot of, well, do you count spin-offs? If it's a spin-off, and I'm like, yeah, sure. If it's a spin-off, we didn't have any spin-offs, but if it's a spin-off, sure. Someone asked, like, the example they used is Dracula, but, like, there wasn't even a Dracula release last year, but, like, they were like, you know, Dracula, when they make a new Dracula movie, it's not necessarily a remake of the originals, it's a version of it. And I'm like, you know, if it's something that well known that has multiple versions of it, then sure, we'll count it, you know, whatever. But yeah, basically, if it's a movie that's a sequel to another horror movie, a prequel, or a remake, that's what the award's for. Best horror death scene. There you go. Very self-explanatory, just best death scene in the horror movie. And that one, when it comes time, if we do keep this or not, that, you know, just give me a little blip. You don't have to like give me a whole paragraph like, well then the axe comes up and it crushes him in the head and blows over. Nah, just, you know, axe scene in this movie, and typically I'll figure it out. And then one award that we had that from last year, and I really like this award, is the Special Mention Award. And this is designed because, you know, I don't know if you noticed, but you know, watch like Oscars or the Scream Awards or, you know, whatever, MTV movie. There's always like that one movie gets like nominated a shit ton and it doesn't win nothing. So this was kind of like my runner-up award. And last year it went to Resident Evil Retribution, which had a shitload of nominations and didn't win a single thing. But it did walk away with a Special Mention Award. So that's what that's for. You know, just anything that has, you know, the most nominations after after it's all over and didn't get a single win, Special Mention Award goes to it. Worst horror picture. Once again, just the reverse of, or the obverse, or the inverse, what you want to call it, of the Best Picture. Just the, you know, for everything that's good, there's always something shitty out there, you know. So we're taking the top 5 shitty movies, you know, nominations. And then finally, the Horror Hall of Fame, which was, this was something that the you guys suggested last year, and we did, and yeah, it was suggested, but then like hardly anybody did it. That was the weird thing, like, because last year my rule was like, okay, we'll each pick 5 pillars of the horror community, and you know, throw them in there. And then I was like, you know, if it gets nominated at least twice across the board, then it's in. And yet, and then like no one did it, like no one at all, like threw the they skipped over it for whatever reason. And so like I just took everybody's suggestions last year, and that's comprised the Horror Hall of Fame last year. So yeah, this year we've got a lot more people, and I'm really hoping if we keep the Horror Hall of Fame that we don't gloss over it. So I feel like, you know, this year we got plenty of people, so I'm saying at least 4 votes. We'll say 4 votes across the board. That should be enough, you know. So yeah. So there you go. There's all the categories. And I guess I should explain the Horror Hall of Fame a little bit more. Basically, if you want to know previous winners, check my old videos. Like, you know, the FAM Awards 2012, or I guess it's 2013, for 2012. Yeah, just you can check those out. Anyways, it's just like our own, you know, special Hall of Fame for pillars of the horror community, whether it be directors, actors, writers, stars, fucking journalists, special effects artists, whatever, producers. It doesn't matter. Just anybody in the horror community who you believe that, you know, should be honored with this very prestigious, you know. You're basically been put in the pantheon of the horror greats, because there's nothing more prestigious than the Phantom Award, you know, Hall of Fame. We'll call it the Phantom Hall of Fame. So, but yeah, that's that right there. So, guys, this right now, as of right now, we're starting the board. You know, pick. You know, if you guys think it's all good, then you know you don't have to say. If you think it's perfect the way it is, you don't have to reply at all. You can just, you know, I'll take your silence as a big thumbs up. If there's something you want to change, delete, whatever, you know, let me know. And we'll put it to a vote. If you want to add something to it, you know, want to add more to it, alter it, change the name, I don't care. It's, you know, it's in your guys' hands now. So yeah, there we go. So I think I got everything here. Get the board, the rules, what constitutes a horror movie. Oh, and this another thing, just because it is my show. Any tiebreakers, I break. That's the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles, because I rule with an iron fist. And this iron fist says meeting adjourned. So, thank you guys, and yeah. Deadline for all the suggestions, November 1st. So, have them in by November 1st. All right.